Okay, in this section, we're going to learn how to graph quadratics using the x-intercepts. Okay, and here I got my Yoda code here. Okay, here we go. Using quadratics, finding zeros, will you? Okay, there are three versions of the quadratics. There's standard form, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and we looked at this already. There's vertex form, and we looked at y equals a x minus p squared plus q, and pq is the vertex, and a is the step pattern. A in all these is the same, it's the step pattern. Now we're going to look at a new one called roots form, which is y equals a x minus x1 bracket x minus x2. So we're going to find the roots, and we're going to look at roots form. Okay, roots, another word for the x-intercepts or zeros. So as Yoda said earlier here, okay, we're going to finding the zeros using quadratics. That's what we're doing today. Okay, A is the same in all, defines the shape. Step pattern, okay, X or times, step pattern times A for graphing. C is the y-intercept. So look, I have a little graph here, so let's label. So A is the step pattn. So our A, you go over one square and up one. This is our A. Okay. Here's our y-intercept. So this is our y-intercept. That's our C or our y-intercept. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. C is the y-intercept. A is the same in each of these equations. PQ is the vertex. So over here, this point at the bottom here that I found right here, this is our P comma Q. So let me write it out. So, oops, I moved the graph. Let's go into writing mode here. Okay, so we got P comma Q. Okay, that point right here. You can label it on your graph. This graph should also have arrows on the end. Let's go to the next part. So far we got A, the step pattern, C, the y-intercept here, and PQ, the vertex. Okay, axis of symmetry, a line that cuts the parabola in half. So here the line, it cuts it right in half, right, let me draw it right down the middle here. It's a line that cuts it in half. It's actually x equal to p. Okay, line that cuts it in half. And we need to know that today for today's lesson. Okay, let's keep going down here. Symmetric points, 2 points which are the same y value but different x's. So let's look at our graph here. Okay, so there's 1 point and it's like has the same, it's on the parabola. Another point that's symmetric to it's on this side. These both y equals 4, but in this case x would equal 3, and over here x would equal 2. Now there's also 2 roots, so there's 1 root, and they're also symmetric points to roots, and there's another root. We'll call this one x1. It's in the formula, so x1 here, and x2. These are our 2 roots. This is 1 root, and this is a second root. Okay, so those are our 2 roots. So roots another are the x-intercepts, and we got x1 here and x2 here, and note that they're opposite signs. Okay, so these are our 2 roots right here. Okay, let's take a look here. We'll go to the next one here. Okay, x roots, x-intercepts are 0, so we're going to be finding the zeros. We're going to set y equal to 0, and then you factor or use the quadratic formula to solve. When we look at the roots or the x-intercepts or the zeros, it is possible to have 2 roots, 1 root, or no roots. So let's take a look here. It's possible that the graph goes all the way around, whoops, and you have 1, 2 roots here. It's possible, like on this one here, 1 root. So the graph comes around and it just sits on the axis right here, and there's only 1 root. Okay, on the last one, it's possible it's above. So here it's possible it's above the graph and it has no roots. It does not cross there's no x-intercepts or zeros. It does not cross the x-axis. When we were doing our quadratic formula before, when we were figuring out that big formula with the square root, negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Remember the discriminant here had an answer. Okay, the discriminant here was equal to 0, and the discriminant for this one, for the no roots, well, would have the square root of a negative number. Okay, so there wouldn't have been an answer here. There would have been only one answer here using the big formula, and there would be two answers. We're not going to use the formula. We're actually going to factor these questions. Okay, now there's a series of steps that I'm going to follow. When you graph this in this form, this is the first we're going to learn how to take this form and to graph it. First, we're going to find the roots. Okay, we're going to find the roots. We're going to set y equal to 0. So we're going to set this part equal to 0, and we're going to factor and find the roots by factoring or the big formula. Okay, we're going to find the axis of symmetry. So if you look at all these, so after you find the roots, halfway between the roots, so halfway from here and halfway from here is where the axis of symmetry is. It's halfway between the two roots. Okay, so we're going to find the axis of symmetry, then we're going to sub that in as an x to find y. We're going to plot the vertex, so we're going to do this to find the vertex to find P and Q, and then we're going to plot it, and then we're going to use the step pattern to graph. Now you may not understand these. I put all these steps here, but when we do hopefully 3 questions, or the next 3 questions, you'll know what these steps mean. We'll just do them one by one. Okay, so on the next video, I'm gonna do the first question. Well, just to let you know, okay, and we am gonna use GeoGebra later to check my work. I'm gonna go into GeoGebra. This is the website. I'm gonna type in the value right here. I'm gonna see if we graphed it correctly in GeoGebra. So later on, we're gonna come back to GeoGebra and use it. So when you open up the next video, we're gonna start by sketching this graph. Okay, well, we're going to just follow all those steps that I had outlined there.